Steve almost needs no introduction, so and if I try to remember all the things that he's done, other than what I do remember is back in, oh dear, I suppose it was 1982 when, 1980, at the Olympics.
I was about 4 then.
And no, it might have been the '84 Olympics where we all crowded around the TV set to see which of the 3 of our Brits were actually going to come home, which medal rather than a medal, and seeing the 3, what then was white vests rather than blue vests, which you might come on to later, running around the, well, coming into the final lap was something that most of that age group will remember forever. Whether that will be repeated within the London Olympics, perhaps Steve will have a view as to how things might go on. So
well, afternoon everybody, great to be here in Guernsey again. I've always, whenever I come here, the one thing that's always been very evident is how important sport is here, and how much you guys are engaged in what is, from what I can see as well, a fairly wide range of sport activity, which is great as well. And I think one thing which Stuart's alluded to is that conversations we've had in the past was actually trying to work out how an island this side of the population, the opportunities it has, but whether or not I think we were whether high performance had a role and how that had been something which I was very I think you probably agreed. I tend to be quite supportive of what's happened in sort of GB lottery funded system. And I'll come on to that. I'm more than happy to talk about that a little bit. But it's partly because of what happened to me when I was an athlete. And for those who are very young, it was a long time ago. I'm sorry. But when I started, it's probably like a lot of the, and I'm happy there's always some older faces in the room as well. Will know, the old amateur days of kind of, do your sport at school, join the local athletic club, and without any real, I have to say that I never ever woke up one day with this driving ambition to be, a great athlete. I just liked sport. The only ambition I had was to play football for Sunderland, so you can tell I wasn't very ambitious really. But running was the thing I found I was best at, so therefore I was prepared to put a bit of work in, And I was fortunate enough to have a very, very good career, and we can talk a bit more about that. But there was lots of people along the way who had a role, from a coach who was a guy called Jimmy Headley, who was a great sort of traditional athletic club coach, but was not more than that. He became a very close friend of the family, not just of me, and sadly died 8 years ago. And Jimmy was a massive influence on my career. People like Brendan Foster, who again, the young ones won't know who that is. I think of him as a commentator, but he was a great athlete himself as well, but having somebody local to act as a role model, so role models are important in all our lives, I think. So, and also it was, at that time, athletics was a massively popular sport, or became a massively popular sport, so you felt as though you were doing something that people were watching you and noticing what you did, which also helps as well when you're young. So all of those things, I think, it probably shows that I'm a fairly shallow person, and that I like getting my name in the paper, I like winning things, and I kind of grew to love the training as well. But it taught me a lot about myself, and it taught me a lot about high performance athletes and people I rubbed shoulders with and watched, and it showed me that talent is just quite a small part of the equation for being successful in sport. And there's an awful lot of things that influence you along the way, and lots of little opportunities that crop up, little doors that open, and you decide to go through them or you don't, and all those decisions that you make are what actually formulate your career, if you like. So when I retired, which was a good few years ago, the hard thing was, all right, what do I do now? And short of setting up a stud farm for athletes or something like that, which hadn't really been done at that point, what use does the world have for what use does the world have for retired 1500 metre runners? And you're 33, 34, And if it's been your focus all your life, it's hard to have sort of made a lot of planning in that, which I haven't really done. So I sort of fell into broadcasting, more because the main attraction for it wasn't that I thought I could be any good at it, it was actually that it kept me involved in the sport, which I...
Different subject, really. I know it's different and it varies in which sport and activity you're doing, but what would you say, or would you recommend, what sort of age people should say, well, I'm now going to specialise just in one sport to the exclusion of other stuff?
Well, that is difficult because most sports have a different age profile. The age profiling is, if you're in gymnastics, you've got to be in it early usually. You know, swimming is, the age profile's changing a little bit perhaps to what it used to be. You can go into rowing at 18, 19 and never have rowed before. So it really depends, I think, on the individual. I don't think there's anything wrong with kind of trying to keep an all-round development for as long as possible. There will come a point though, once you go through things like growth spurts and everything, that you are going to need to start to specialise a little bit, because you need some of those early development things that happen. So for instance, if you are going to be an endurance athlete, if you do very little of it before the age of 13, 14, 15, you need to do some endurance-based training, otherwise you're never going to catch that up later on. It doesn't mean that you do everything. So when I went to athletic club until I was about 15, 16, I mean this sounds stupid, but I was still playing basketball for the school. Played at least one match a week until I was 6, until I was still going to Commonwealth Games. I was still playing basketball. I'm not saying I was great. So we county champions, are we alright? And most nights at the athletic club, even when I was, it would never happen now, but we used to, particularly once the weather, but light nights came, before we went out training, we used to kick the ball around and play football. And it was about like the others, there'd be the 10-year-old kids and the 50-year-old blokes, and everyone would have a game of football. It was like a mass warm-up. But then it got a bit, all the years later, to be competitive. Jimmy used to go, you know. Now you're going, is that relevant? Well, I think it is a little bit, because, you know, athletes, for instance, particularly endurance athletes, can have, you're running in straight lines, the body, everything's in a linear motion, and you do want some, I was talking about things like core stability. I think what we'd be replacing those games of football and basketball with now is a slightly more scientific approach to kind of, well, you need your all-round development, you need to take care of that a little bit more, and here's some exercises you would do, and there's, you know, one of our great, she's just coming back now, one of our top sprinters, was a world youth champion, and then she injured a very bad injury, trampoline. You know, it was like nearly 3 years out, and we just come back this year, and she was a massive talent. Still is, but she's missed because she was trampoline. So, and you know, I tend to like people doing, particularly until they're maybe 14, 15 at least, having a reasonably wide range of activity. But I think if your training load for your sport starts to become such that you're worrying about, am I going to be fit enough to train, then that probably is time to start thinking about letting other things go.
We've got time for one more question. Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned that closed door TT, and you decided that at that point that was when you were going to the Olympics, and you said, I've got to get in the mindset for it now. How has the mental training between when you were preparing for that Olympics and now changed with your sort of elite athletes?
Well, I think this is the most difficult area, is psychology, sports psychology. I have to be careful because I'm chairman of the EIS, we have lots of psychologists, quite a few psychologists. And I think you've got to be really careful how you use that sort of thing. That mindset we talked about, again, we talk about it as though it was something that just happened there and then. It's a long process you've gone through from the age of 13 or 14. And the way in which you think when you're 23, 24 doesn't just come from nowhere. You haven't just sat down with somebody in a room who's gone, you know what your problem is, your attitude's not right. You go, oh, that's what it is, you know. It doesn't work like that. And anyone who thinks they can do do that is lying. If any psychologist comes and tells you, I'm going to turn you into a winner, they're lying. What they can do, though, is to help you understand a little bit better what it is you do to put yourself in that mindset. Because sometimes you don't quite realise the processes you've gone through to get to do that. So good, experienced sports psychologists will help you. Hopefully they'll get to know you quite well as well. And all coaches, I would argue, are psychologists. That's part of your job, is to know your athlete as well as they might know themselves as well. The right language at the right time, the right phraseology. So that day there, what Jimmy was saying, what Brendan was saying, was all part of the right way of thinking. And so, but we all don't arrive at it. You know, I'm sure they didn't turn up that day going, right, what we're going to say to it is, you know. So it's a way of thinking, a way of operating, and you've got to try and guide that so that when they get into that big arena, that it comes as second nature. And because when we're in stressful situations, we all tend to revert to type. You know, we get in very stressful situations. And I try and use one of the best analogies I can sort of use, it's not an analogy, it's an example. Any golfers in the room? Apart from you? I play a bit of golf, yeah. So a 3-foot putt, 4-foot putt, one of the simplest things to do in golf, seriously, amongst everything else. It is about the simplest thing to do. If anyone's been on a crazy golf pitch and putt or whatever, we've all had a bit of a go at that, and you can sink a putt. Even someone who's hardly ever lifted a golf club can sink a putt. You take that exact exercise and you transfer it somewhere else. So you are now standing on the 18th green at St Andrews, and there's 30,000 people gathered around and have gone silent. And all you have to do is to sink this putt. And as you go down to address the ball, you can actually become aware of the fact that everyone's gone silent. You can hear the guy from 5 Live over your shoulder whispering, and he's got this to win the Open, his first ever major championship, could change his life forever. Because he thinks he can't, but you can hear it. And then over this shoulder, 15 yards that way, your fiancée is already crying. And she can't stand the tension. And you pause and you step back and you glance up and you see that your caddy is actually turned around and he can't even watch. And then you go back down to it. So, how are you thinking? Well, what you have to be thinking, this is a 3-foot putt. And I've done this 1,000 times. And all I need to do is to take the putt back. And you actually don't even think, you just do what you do, yeah? And it's, but that hasn't, but the fact that you've done that 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 times over the last 10 years, and you have confidence in your ability to do that, means that all that stuff actually doesn't matter. It's all you are focusing on is that. And it's hard to teach that. And you can't teach it in a 1-hour session. You can't teach it even in a 2-3 month session, to be honest. It needs to be part of your development. And the earlier you start that, so if somebody naturally is in that way, then yes, with young athletes in particular, I wasn't like that. I wasn't a naturally confident person, I don't think. I wasn't that ambitious. I told you I support the semi. You know, I used to be quite happy. Academic, I would never put my hand up in class. I used to be happy just to think, yeah, I know what I know. Yeah. You know, I wasn't one of those people who would naturally put myself into that sort of. But running brought that out of me. Jimmy Henley, Brendan Foster, people around me helped. They didn't realise that they were being psychologists along with it. All that happens now is I think we can work with people. So that sometimes the psychologists don't talk to the athletes, but we do talk to the coach. And actually, we get them to talk to our other practitioners. Because if Jess Ennis, let's bring it right up today, if Jess Ennis is going into the 800 metres at the end of 2 days of hard competition, and she's in the warm-up area, and she knows that she's 25 points behind Chinova, the big Russian. And Chinova's a slightly better 800 metre than Jess, and she's going to win the gold medal, has to beat Chinova. Maybe is going to have to run the
second or two faster than she's ever run the 800s before. And she's lying on the physio's bed and having a massage. And can you imagine, because this is what used to happen in my day, that the masseur starts going, well, your calves are a bit tight, Jess. Or, she's bloody good at the 800, that chin over. You know, and, you know, so as good as Jess might be, it's amazing how somebody else just saying the wrong things at the wrong thing. I used to have team managers, and they were often the last people you'd see. You'd be walking through to the call-up room, and they'd be going, just saying things about your competitors that you didn't want to hear, you know. And there was one guy who looked at him, gave him the filthiest look, you know. Because if they haven't been in that, anyway, so sometimes it's just, and I think it's really important that people understand, whether it is the fiance, whether it is the, you know, whatever, that you're all part of this with that person. And you're right, mindset isn't just something you turn on and turn off, it's with you all the time. And you have to train that as much as you train your body. Anyway.
Thanks, Steve. I think that's the right time to call an end, although I think